started. Mr. Lighty, if you will call the roll, please.
Be glad to. Councilmember Hendricks. Here. Councilmember Griffin. Here. Councilmember Eubanks.
Present.
Councilmember Edwards. Here. Councilmember Oliver. Here. Council President Simmons.
Here.
Madam President, all 6 council members are in attendance, and therefore a quorum is present.
Thank you. We're having this special call meeting for today to discuss the demolition, excavating of the old parking deck that's located at 116 West Tennessee Street. Mayor, or you're going to discuss it?
Yes. I have several.
You're on.
Several things. If you, in fact, approve this today, I clarified with Calvin with LED that he spoke with Tomlin, and I guess the concern I had, I sent you the information about fencing for that space. The contractor, once he gets the signed contract, can mobilize within 2 weeks and move forward. Second thing is I got a request about, we had money in the GO, we needed 774. We have around 550 there now. There was a request for using PBA funds. As I understand, the other 200 plus thousand, we could use PBA funds, but that will have to be reworked because it currently is on this property. It would have to be moved. So that can in fact happen, but it'll require some effort to make that happen. So that should not be a problem. And the third thing I wanted to share, and I gave each one of you a copy, I wanted to clarify some misunderstanding, some misinformation that's been floating around out in the public about this demolition contract. If you'll notice the first page at the very bottom, this is dated 10/4. The civil engineer for the project is Legacy Collaborative out of Huntsville. We have a purchase order dated April the 1st when we reached out to have to provide the second page, to provide professional services necessary to provide services associated with the demolition of the deck. And if you'll notice on it says page 4, but the third page of your documents, it lists LYBD is in that contract. Then the next page that has LYBD on it, that's dated February the 12th. That was the proposal to LED Architects. But on July the 14th, we received a change order, no increase associated with it, which basically Jason Tucker is from LED is to adjust the existing contract to reflect the use of Legacy Collaborative as the consultants retained under Supplemental Services as a civil engineer firm replacing LBYD. Next page with a seal at the top, it says Council approved change order 1 to Lambert's L. Durham Architecture LLC to replace LBYD Incorporated with Legacy Collaborative LLC for engineering professional services regarding the demolition of the current parking deck and no change in cost. Any question?
Yes. So let's go back to what you said a minute ago when you said once this contract is fulfilled, if it is fulfilled today, it would take a moment to mobilize and would get started on the project within 2 weeks. Go into some detail, Mayor, about what that get started means.
Well, I think my concern is the fencing around the property, in particular, since we had a fire and for liability. So my question to LED was mobilization would start with that fencing of the property. Beyond that, since Calvin's not here, I can't.
Well, wait a minute. Now, does the demolition company provide the fencing, or is this something we got to do?
No, They provide the, that's part
Okay.
of the contract.
I got you, okay.
So we don't know when it will be demolished. We don't know that.
Well, I mean, they would begin mobilizing within 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks.
But does that mean just fencing, or does that mean moving?
It would start with the fencing and go beyond. In fact, if we've got a meeting next Tuesday, I'll be glad to.
Share updates?
Yes, ma'am.
I talked to a gentleman the other day that has some knowledge of demolition companies, and it is about a week process of just getting ready to actually start, bringing structures down, like putting fencing up and securing, the site, and a lot of safety stuff goes into pre-planning it, so.
I just didn't want for us to engage in a contract for fencing that David Coons got us for $8,500 when this was going to take care of it.
We don't need it.
No.
So also with the PBA funds, you're saying it would require some effort. So does that mean that the council would need to take some action in order to transfer
That's
the
a-
additional dollars out of the
that's-
other bond issue?
That's a Billy question.
Mr. Musgrove, could you please answer?
Well, you use that mic, Billy, I can't hear well up here, so.
Well, the Public Building Authority, when the money was borrowed by the PBA, the current site, proposed site for City Hall was deeded to the Public Building Authority by the city so that the PBA could build City Hall on that location and then lease it back to the city, which is how the structure of a PBA works. Public building authorities can only expend funds on various things allowed in the statute with municipal buildings, City Hall, courthouse, so on and so forth. So the only way that money can be spent to demolish the parking deck is if that is part of the actual construction of City Hall, which it will be if the location of City Hall is moved across the street to where the current parking deck is, or the old parking deck. But in order to do that, we're going to have to deed the property to the PBA, amend the lease, change the documents that were approved when the bonds were issued before that money can be spent on the demolition. I mean, it's all doable, it's just a matter of doing it.
So,
With the limitation that the only way PBA funds can be spent on the demolition of the parking deck is if we locate City Hall there. So if City Hall is located any other location, then those funds cannot be used for the demolition. If that makes any sense.
It
It's
does.
clear as mud.
no, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody have any questions?
How long would it take to do that? A day, a week, 2 weeks, or
Well, there's no way to, most likely we might not have to have it. Well, eventually we'll have to have a survey. We could probably transfer the property without a survey, but it's just a matter of rounding up the Public Building Authority members. At least one of the members' terms has expired, so the council's going to have to appoint at least one new member or reappoint a member, and then beyond that, it's just as long as it takes to draft the documents and publish the notice of the meeting.
And we have to make that decision if that's where it's going to go. Correct?
Right, that's correct,
So
yeah.
that's the first pin to fall, yeah.
That's correct, because, I mean, when the council decides and the mayor decide where they want the City Hall located, and if it is in fact across the street, then we'll start working on getting the documents drafted for the PBA to approve and for the city council to approve to make that, to change the site essentially. So it's not really, I mean, it's not complicated. It just takes a little bit of time.
It's kind of has something to do with that, but it may not be the time to get an answer on this, but when do we need to replace the member on the PBA that went off?
The council will just have to appoint someone before the PBA.
That's someone outside this council, you're talking about a citizen or?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
gotcha.
correct. Yeah, well,
Okay.
the council will just have to appoint somebody before the PBA meets to approve the new
Understood.
lease and the new deed.
Okay,
Currently, the board, the PBA board members are like Robert Coots, Mary White, and Russell P.
so maybe at the next council meeting, could we nominate someone for that, or how did we do it?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we just have to, it has to be a registered voter who lives within the city limits of Florence, and then we'll just need to talk to someone, make sure they're willing to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, any time is fine.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any more discussion on it or questions for anybody? Council, don't have anything else? Okay. At this time, I have a motion for immediate consideration.
So moved.
You don't need it.
Oh, we just have to vote, that's right, because we didn't, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion?
So
On
moved.
one of the three.
So moved.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Ms. Eubanks, second by Katrina, all in favor?
6-0, motion carries.
May I say something, please?
Right.
We've been talking about this for several weeks, 3 councils. One of us let it change your heart. It's gonna have a fire and thing, because we realize there's an imminent danger to it. Is that, we shut the thing down in December because it was unsafe, so we closed it. But yet, we're not willing to tear it down until something happened, and then something happened, and now we're all jumping in.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
And
I'll take it afterwards.
I don't understand.
Well,
I really-
okay.
I just don't understand.
You know my reasoning for this, but I will also add this. No fire over there was gonna have begun or ended, because even had we voted on it, the thing would have still been standing. It wouldn't have been torn down, because timing would not have worked out. But with the opportunity to take the additional funding out of PBA, then I can get behind it, because it's not coming out of our general fund.
I understand.
And to answer your question, I've always been on the fence about it. I knew that it was eventually going to have to come down, but it's forced me. Safety has always been a concern. And yes, that fire did prompt me, but I wasn't going to move until I was ready to move. And I've always have said that funding was a issue with me, and I wanted to have a direction in which we were going in. So I don't understand why does it matter why the 3. We didn't never pressure you guys on why you move fastly.
I haven't pressured y'all.
Why, and I didn't even ever have an attitude with you because of your,
I just
you
don't
wanted to move
understand
forward.
why something we knew is going to come down, but we wait, the deadline is Friday, we wait till the last.
Because that was the council's prerogative, Mr. Edwards.
I just,
It's the council member's prerogative whenever they decide to want to move forward on their vote, individual vote.
I've just been a bit frustrated over it, so.
Well, so have I.
So we have as well.
That's-
But I've always said, a council member, everybody's opinion is valued and appreciated. And just because we have a difference of opinion, we should be able to disagree.
Well, I agree. I mean, I agree with you, we're not going to agree on everything. But I've been a bit frustrated.
As we all have.
Can I speak, ma'am?
Mr. Griffin?
We, in our work session, we talked about having $1 million, which was plenty of money. And then we found out we were over budget on the new parking deck, so we were under budget. Offered a solution, which was take $250,000 of the $500,000 to UNA and use it here. That was a solution. And I think I was the only one that supported that solution. So thank you, Mayor, for coming back with the second solution. And once you brought that back, I felt comfortable moving forward in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, if not, we can be adjourned. Thank you all for coming.